Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Possibilities, the podcast where we explore the lives of amazing people, their choices, challenges and opportunities. And today I have a very special guest, Inais.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So Inais, what's your sort of 1-minute introduction about what you do?
So I'm a consultant in the tech advisory team.
Wow.
So that basically means that we help with tech business strategies, with tech assessments of systems and a whole wealth of information regarding deals and other areas as well around tech business, essentially.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we really want to know how you became so cool. So we're going to go right from the beginning. Inais, what kind of kid were you like growing up?
Very nerdy.
I
loved reading. I still do. And that really played into school. I loved school. Growing up, I was that kid who was like, yes, I'm going to school every day.
Yeah.
Everyone's be like, how's your day at school? And I'd be like, you're pretty good, other than grade 8, which is, grade 8 is grade 8 drama. There's always 1 year of school, I think, for everybody. That's always a bit interesting. But even that year, I still really enjoyed learning and being involved with school and everything. So very nerdy.
That's awesome. Were you kind of like a teacher's pet kind of vibe?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow,
In every
I love
class.
it.
Like,
parents must be proud, right? They love that kind of kid. They love the smart kid.
I mean, I did always get really, really good reviews in parent-teacher review time. I think sometimes they were a bit like, oh, you don't have to suck up to all your teachers that much.
Really, I don't know how they could have written that nicely in the review comment.
Very careful of wording.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And so did you have siblings growing up?
Yes, I have 3 younger sisters.
Wow, big sister, Inais, looking up to you as the role model.
I don't know if they all look up to me. I think they would all say that I'm possibly a little bit too lame for them. My little sisters are all very, very cool people, and we're all very different to each other. We also all look very different to each other, which doesn't help things either, but they're wonderful people, and they all just are growing up to be the most incredible human beings. I'm so proud of them. They're all really different.
So beautiful.
My younger sister is 10 years younger than me, so I've got a really different relationship with her than I would have with the 2 sisters who are very close in age. There's only about 4 years between us. And, getting them to see them over the last couple of years, as they've become adults, and my little sister hitting high school.
Wow.
It's so nice.
Yeah, and how would you sort of describe the, different personalities of the Black sisters? What a cool last name, Black.
Yes. Oh, man. Talking about our extended family is always interesting. Saying, we'll go see our cousins, which I'm the oldest of 17 cousins on the Black side.
Wow, another role model.
Yeah.
Role model.
Again, I think they'd all be like,
faces.
they'd all be like, oh, she's a bit odd, but that's okay. I love them all as well, but we're all so different.
Yeah. So what's your younger sister? What's she like?
She's adorable. She's she's like every other 13-year-old at the moment, trying to figure out who she is and her place in the world. She really, really loves murder mysteries at the moment.
Wow.
They're her favourite thing. So on the weekend we went to this murder mystery comedy show, actually, as part of Brisbane Comedy Festival. And then the next sister up from her, my younger sister is called Arabella. The next sister up from her, Persia.
Cool name. Cool names running the family?
Yeah, my parents had to after they named me.
That's a high bar to set.
No, the names I think got a little bit easier to say. But.
Okay. Yeah, and then the next sister?
Yeah, so Persia's 19 and she's studying law and business at uni.
Ooh.
So very different. She's like such an interesting person. Also, weirdly enough, really, really loves murder mysteries, but more from like the crime solving side of things. She really loves trying to figure it out before the books actually tell her like all the clues.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how good at it she is, but she's getting there. She's getting better. Yeah. She's probably the quietest of the 4 of us, but definitely still like super spunky. She's incredibly witty and very, very dry humour. So lots of fun to sort of, get into a banter conversation with her. And then Matisse is the one who's closest in age with me. So she turns 21 in October this year. And I would say she's definitely the most headstrong of all of us. She's like such an inspiration. She like is carving her own path in a very male-dominated industry of, finance and banking.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, she's very cool. Fabulous dress sense as well. Yeah. She always looks like, she's like, we'll roll out of bed and we'll be looking perfect somehow. So
supermodel.
jealous.
Ooh. Yeah. And what about you in terms of personality? The headstrong one, the loud, extroverted?
Very
quirky
loud,
one?
very extroverted. Yeah, my family are always like, oh, you need to let other people talk in conversations. I do. Maybe just not
try.
enough for them.
Yeah, that's cool. And then tell me more about school. So were you kind of like academic? You were very academic. Were you like very sporty? You must be popular, hey?
No, oh my God, I was, in regards to sport, I'm the most unco person you've met in your entire life. My best friend infamously hated me when we met because we were placed onto the same softball team, and for some reason they made me shortstop. And anyone who knows anything about softball will tell you that that is a really bad position to put someone who is bad at catching balls and really, really bad at throwing accurately.
Wow.
So I'm not entirely sure why I was put there. She detested me the entire season. She was like, she's so annoying. She keeps messing up all of our plays. And I was like, I'm doing my best. The ball just is not going in the direction that I'm trying it. So yeah, very unsporty in school. And I wouldn't say I was super popular, but I was lucky enough to have a really fabulous group of friends the whole way through high school.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And they all really supported me. And of course, I also had a best friend, Lee, who's hilarious. One of the greatest people that I am like lucky to know. And she really helped with high school as well, you know.
So good. Thank goodness for softball.
Yeah, exactly. In the end, thank God for softball.
Yeah, and then let's move on to your name. So tell me about those cool stories. And does it like, do you get annoyed when people pronounce your name wrong? Because I did in the beginning, like maybe twice.
It's okay. I barely even notice these days, honestly. And I think most people know me more for how I introduce myself, because when I do introduce myself to people, I very regularly say, like, hello, my name is Inais, it rhymes with face. And a lot of people will see me now and go, Inais rhymes with face, that's you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, hello, you've said it correctly though.
Yeah.
And we love to see it, but I will respond to pretty much anything, the exception being Inais. I did get called that once, in high school. They were like, cool, you need to come up for an award. And I was like, if I go up and accept that, no one will ever let me live this down. I need to not. So I just had sat in my seat, like looking at our principal going like, no, can't do it. I'm really sorry. That's always a no. But everything else I pretty much respond to. I've responded to Grace before, like, it's fine.
Yeah, did you ever almost like wish for an easier sort of like name to pronounce or anything? Does it get annoying? Like, yeah, Inais rhymes with face. Inais rhymes with face, like, all day long.
No, I really love my name. It's something my parents, like, you know, chose for me. And I think having an interesting name is part of what helps people remember me these days, you know. I could go by my middle name. My parents purposely gave myself and all my younger sisters, like, boring, they're not actually boring, but more generic middle names. So my middle name is Georgia. So I could go by Georgia or Georgie if I wanted to, but I really love Inais. It's mine, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Can I hear your other sisters' middle names while we're at it?
Yeah, so it's Matisse Ellie, Persia Rose, and Arabella Cameron.
Oh, yeah, they actually are quite easy to...
Yeah, so much more like generic names.
Yeah.
They're all beautiful, you know?
Yeah, they are.
Really gorgeous names, but...
Yeah, I love how you just own your name, because I know some kids growing up and they changed their name because like they had a Chinese name growing up, and then they would sort of kind of get bullied for it, and they'll get like a sort of like mainstream English name, but you just rock it, I guess.
Yeah, I try to. I don't think anyone should ever have to, you know, change their name because other people find it too difficult to say. I find that sad, you know, that people feel like they have to fit in.
Yeah, why fit in when you're born to stand out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Yeah, that's cool. And then Black, what a cool last name, man.
Yes, I'm a fan. I think it's very cool.
Yeah, and growing up you were a brunette, was that right?
Yes, yeah, my natural hair colour is brown, so.
Yeah, and then you sort of dyed it more black to match.
Yes, exactly. I think I match my cat right now. She's got black fur. So
yeah, and you also had a blonde face. So how was that?
Yeah, I've been every colour under the sun. I was a redhead for a period when I was like a teenager. I've been platinum blonde in like a honey blonde colour. I've had blue hair and hot pink hair. and this horrific swamp green colour.
Whoa! Tell me about the swamp green. Why swamp green?
I had pastel blue hair, and a friend invited me to be her date at her older brother's wedding. I was an emergency last-minute date because her and her boyfriend had broken up the week before the wedding was due to happen. And I was like, I can absolutely be there. Like, you know, I've got a dress I can use. That's all good. I just need to sort my hair because I was, you know, as her date, I was going to be in the wedding party photos. And I was like, I can't have blue hair in these poor people's weddings. I can't do that to them. So I went to Coles and I bought myself brown hair dye, and I was like, this will be fine. So then I put brown hair dye over the top of pastel blue hair, and then my hair went swamp green, and I had to call my hairdresser at like 8:30 in the evening going, please, can you please fit me in? Like at some point this week, I need to dye my hair. And I got there and she just laughed at me and was like, we're gonna have to dye your hair black. So it was so dark for these photos, which was, it ended up looking very, very good. Like she did an incredible job, but swamp green, not a good look. Wouldn't recommend.
Wow, and so was that when you started going black?
No, I actually went platinum blonde the month after I went black.
Oh my gosh.
And I was platinum blonde for about 2 years during COVID, and then I dyed it to be brown on top and blonde underneath, and then I went back to brown, and then I've been black, and now it's slowly fading back down to brown.
Yeah, wow. And so what is the final hair look for Inais?
Oh, absolutely, there will be no final hair look. It will change lots, I'm sure.
Wow, is it kind of like a mood thing? Like, I'm feeling blonde, I'm feeling red.
Yeah, sometimes I just, you know, want to change it up. I think the colour that your hair is it changes how clothes and other colours look on you, and it's always fun, you know. I really love fashion, and I love, you know, changing up how I express myself with my clothes and, you know, my hair or my shoes and things like that. So being creative there is an easy way to be creative in life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does it sort of change your personalities when you go for a new look, like the redhead, like?
I don't think so. I don't really know how to be anyone other than myself, so.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah. And then, so tell me more about like when you're younger and you're sort of thinking about the career that you wanted to do in the future. What was kind of going through your mind?
Not much, to be honest. I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. For a long time, I really wanted to be a fashion designer.
Yes, I was going to say, hello, girl.
And then when I was probably about 14, I was like, yeah, it's a bit of an unrealistic goal, given that I can't sew particularly well. So I was like, that might not go anywhere. And then I was, never really sure what I wanted to do with my life or where I wanted to be. I had really vague goals about, you know, where I would eventually be. I would vaguely want, okay, I'm going to make lots of money, which is so unhelpful, right? Like that doesn't actually tell you anything. So in grade 12, when I was picking what university courses I would study, I was literally like, I really like biology and I really liked economics. I guess we'll study both of those at university. So, and then I've ended up in tech, so.
Wow, life happens.
Yeah, life happens, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. And so what about your parents? What kind of expectations did they have for their daughter to be?
I think they just want us to be happy. Like, my parents are both incredible people, and, you know, they want us to be successful, but only in the sense that they know that us being successful in whatever, you know, stream of work we all end up in will make us happy. You know, they want us to just have enough money to live the lives that we want. They want us to, you know, be happy when we talk about work and what we're doing and with our lives in general. So I was very lucky in that aspect. Although they did say for a long time that they didn't want any of us to be lawyers because they were both lawyers originally. Posia is now studying law though, so that clearly didn't work.
And was it because like law was just so stressful, long hours, that kind of thing?
Yeah, and I think they both ended up in really different careers. My dad owns a few different like small businesses, and my mum is a consultant. And I think it gave them, very different consultant to the one that I am though. But I think they both, you know, agree that law gave them a really good foundation. But that, you know, they didn't really love working in law per se.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then back to high school, tell me more about girls' grammar. A lot of spicy stories, huh? All girls school or nah?
I mean, probably the same as every other all girls school in the world, right? It's a whole bunch of girls trapped in the same school for ages. you're going to have fights, you're going to have very odd friendships with people, but that's high school, right? Everyone's trying to figure out who they are, and everyone's trying to figure out what they can do with their lives and what they enjoy doing, and dealing with their own expectations, their parents' expectations, the school's expectations. Grammar was a really fantastic school. I loved it. I feel like I thrived there. After that grade 8 settle-in period, where it was a bit rough, you know, moving from a very small school to a school like Grammar where there's 250 girls in your grade. It takes you a little while to find your feet, but that's, you know, I think anyone moving from a small school to a big school would have a very similar experience. So I really enjoyed Grammar, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then tell me more about your extracurriculars.
So I was involved with a whole bunch of things.
Sporty.
My parents made me do cross country, and I hated it so much. Like I
mean, you're not catching or throwing.
Yeah. Well, ironically, I actually am a long distance runner now.
Hello.
Like my chill activity is I de-stress by going for runs.
Yeah.
But I hated it in school. I really disliked competing
boring?
against other people. And I'm not much of an outdoor runner. Also, we weren't allowed to listen to music, which I found really annoying.
That's weird.
I also did rhythmic gymnastics, which I was terrible at. I am the most unflexible human being you've ever met in your entire life. Like, I'm fairly sure I can't touch my own toes. So,
Should we do a quick demo now?
So I'm not entirely sure, like, how that one even started, other than I think I saw someone at the school like do a demo of it, and I was like, ooh, pretty ribbon, like, it's beautiful. We did not get to use ribbons. We used like the hoops and the balls. So not quite as fun, but very like lovely team. I really enjoyed doing it every year, so I kept going back. And then in grade 12, I was like on the soccer team.
Soccer champion. Woo!
Absolutely not. Loved my team. They were all phenomenal girls. Our goal for the entire season was to score one single goal against an opposing team. We did not manage that before the season ended. So,
work in progress.
Yeah, work in progress. Soccer skills, you would say.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then moving on to university. So that kind of science stream, let's go girl. How did it sort of end, and what happened?
I finished my degree. So I have a degree in business. My major is economics. And then I have a degree in biomedical science. And the official name for my major is cellular and molecular biotechnology, which is a really fancy way of saying genetics, basically. And I finished both of them, so happy about that. Love to see it. And I did really enjoy, you know, labs and, you know, getting to be with all of my friends in a lab. You know, you get to goof around as much as possible as you can in a lab space. Obviously, you have to be safe. And there's only so much you can get away with. But I really enjoyed it. I just, you know, found that I don't like that biomed in that space wasn't for me, and it might be in 10 years, you know, life might change, but right now I can't see myself working in a lab every day, if only because I'm not allowed to wear heels in a lab, and I love my shoes, so gotta wear flats.
I heard you have a very impressive heel collection. Let's hear it.
I do. I'm not entirely sure how many pairs of shoes I own. It's probably going to be sad if I did count it up, and
or if you moved house.
Find out. That's not an enjoyable part of moving house.
20 mark?
Probably a bit more than that.
Ooh, nice.
Probably upwards of like 30, maybe 40. I'm not sure.
Are we just talking all heels?
No, I've got like some boots and, you know, a couple of different styles of shoes and a couple of different pairs of sneakers for, like, you know, the gym and running and everything. But most of them would be heels, yes.
Nice.
My mum has a very fabulous shoe collection, and I think I've caught the bug off her.
Yeah. Wow. And like, are you able to rotate through like all 30-ish pairs, or do some not get some love like during that year?
Yeah, some of them like don't get worn as much because they're very specific occasion shoes, or, you know, they're very over the top. I've got an incredible pair that I was gifted, which have like butterfly wings on the back.
Yes!
But you can't exactly wear those into the office, you know. They're
How
much
big
more
are they?
vague.
I'm sure you can.
They're pretty sizable butterfly wings hanging off the back.
Friday drinks?
Yeah, maybe one day.
Vote down if you want to see them. Yeah, and how did you sort of get into fashion and like heels and everything? Was that something like in high school and always like on point eyeliner?
I mean, I was very uncool in high school. I went through a period where I was like, oh, I'm not like other girls. I don't care about fashion. I don't care about looking good. I'm, you know, just going to dress like a slob because that makes me different. And then I grew out of my, you know, I'm not like other girls phase, because I was like, you know what, I do want to be like other girls. Like, other girls are fantastic. They're all wonderful human beings, and everyone expresses themselves differently through fashion. And that's what I really love about it, is that it's very much a, you know, touch point in our culture. You can look at the way that people dress and look at what's going on in the economy. You can look at how people choose to present themselves at work, for example, versus home life. And you can tell, oh, at work they might, you know, only wear suits, but when you see them on their day off, they might suddenly be dressed like they're going to the beach all the time. And I find that so fascinating to see and know these different aspects of people's personalities. And so, yeah, I try to show my personality in the way that I dress every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you ever consider becoming a model or something?
No, I'm not tall enough for that, unfortunately.
You're
not unless I'm wearing my heels. In which case, I think I'd just make the cut if I was wearing my stilettos. But even then...
How tall are you?
I think I'm 171 or 172 centimeters.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I reckon you'd make the cut. We support your second career.
Yeah. Yeah. If there are any modeling scouts, listen, give me a call.
Find her on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Yeah, and tell me more about your sort of fashion style. How would you sort of describe it? Is it the cool, edgy, or the classic, or a little bit of everything?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of everything. It changes
versatile model,
all
you
the
hear
time.
that?
I think I like try to change it up because I want to try out, you know, different styles. I see someone and I'm like, I love the way that you're dressed. Like, I want to copy that. Or I see someone in an incredible color and I'm like, ooh, I need to try and work that into my wardrobe. Like, for example, that when we met the first time, you were wearing this top that you're wearing today, actually. This incredible green top, but I love it. It's such a great color and it looks really phenomenal on you because it like brings out your undertones in your skin. It's a great color, right?
I didn't think that much when I bought it. Nah, I love it. Yeah,
so I'll probably be wearing more green in the future. Been inspired.
Wow, maybe I should go for more black and white. Huh?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I do own a lot of black and white, that is true.
Yeah, and then
Good
tell me
basics.
about your nails. Ooh, hello.
Yeah.
How long does it take to go to this level?
Not very long. I drink a lot of milk, and I think that makes them quite
strong
long.
nails.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think they're strong. Luckily, they
Can
don't break. Sure.
No, I'm kidding.
They're bendy, but they don't break very.
No, they
often.
are strong. That's solid, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have no idea why they grow so well. Like, of my younger sisters, the only one who like has the similar sort of nails as my younger sister, Arabella. Maddie and Persia both keep their nails very, very short because they both do a lot of ball sports, and so they need short nails to be involved. Like, you know, you can't exactly go play social netball with long nails hanging off the end of your hand. So one of the benefits, I guess, of not being a sporty person is I can have nice long nails.
Yeah, that's cool. And do you accidentally, you know, give people a scratch?
I have occasionally in the past, but I think I'm getting better about, you know, understanding how long my nails are and not doing that.
It's a weapon, huh?
Yeah. If needed, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, so tell me more about how you like sort of made your degree into a dual degree and added in business. So what was sort of going through your mind? Did you ever consider adding something else on other than business?
No, I've always wanted to do a double degree because I thought having a background in two areas would, you know, make me more employable, but also I'm a person who loves learning. So I was like, this is great. It's an opportunity to learn more in more areas. And I, you know, stayed in the degree that I applied for when I left grade 12, which was that dual bachelor's of business and biomedical science. I did think about changing it occasionally, you know, particularly around exam times. You'd be like, oh my God, what if I just like dropped out or swapped into literally any other degree? I'd get onto the QT website sometimes and be like, I can do a degree in architecture.
Yeah,
I could absolutely do that. And I'm sure I
Support.
could have, but you know, you hit a certain point and I was like, I actually enjoy what I'm learning about, and also, you know, there's a year left, might as well finish it out, right?
Yeah, the sunk cost fallacy, hello.
Exactly.
Yeah, and tell me more about business. So what did you major in?
Economics,
Wow.
which is one of my great loves in life, which is such a nerdy thing to say, I'm aware, but I love it. I, again, find it super interesting for what it tells us about the world and the people in it, because it's really the science of, you know, how people, why we do what we do, in my opinion anyway. It's, understanding why people spend money the way they do, understanding why people would go on certain trips. It's, having an understanding of our society and how all these different metrics play a part in it. And it can be very imprecise sometimes, but that's also what I really enjoy about it, and probably why I was really, really bad at accounting in university, because it doesn't have that element of, looking at people and understanding of it. Accounting is very black and white, or at least from the intro to accounting class that I took. And then, barely passed with the help of my best friend. So, she's an accountant and was very good. She was like, oh, you just do it this way. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. I don't understand what you mean by credits and debits. Why are they on different sides of the piece of paper? And she's like, no, it just works like this. And I was like, this makes no sense to me. But when I was trying to explain, for example, like supply and demand curves and how you can have different types of supply and demand curves, to her, when she took intro to economics, she was like, this makes no sense to me.
Wow,
and I was like, no, it's really simple. It's literally just like a cross on the, one line meets here and the other line meets there.
Yeah, damn, at least you guys both sort of found your kind of niche.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever comes naturally to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And so with these 2 degrees, when you're thinking about the future, like, what am I going to be? What were you sort of thinking, like, be an economist or whatnot? I don't know.
I didn't really think about what I wanted to be in the future, to be honest. I was like, I'm just going to see where it takes me. And I didn't end up using either of them necessarily.
Perfect. Learning from scratch, but you love learning. So.
Yes, that's fine. It works for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's talk about working during uni. So journalist and social media manager at propertymash.com.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
So my job was essentially to go to new and off the plan building projects. So like apartments, house and land projects, etc., and review them. When I say review, though, that was quite a loose term. It's like a car review. There's no such thing as a bad car review, realistically, unless the car blows up.
Yeah.
So it was really just having a look at them. It was trying to explain to people who don't have a background in property what they would be looking at, because in new and off the plan projects, quite often there is literally nothing there. It hasn't been built yet.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to buy an apartment, for example, that doesn't exist, it's really hard to have an understanding of what you want and what's good and what's bad about these spaces. And everyone has different needs. You look at different properties and you go, that's a good investment property for me, but someone else might look at it and go, that's like my ideal home. I am happy to put as much money into that as possible because it's a great location. And so that's what we tried to do. And as part of that job, we also worked with some different developers and ran advertising campaigns for them, which was the social media part.
Yeah, and did you love it? Because you're a bit of like a creative person.
Yes, it was it was my first job. So lots of learning on the go and, really trying to figure out what on earth was going on. I was very lucky in that I had some really good mentors throughout this period who taught me a lot about, journalism and writing and about how social media works and how advertising works, which, I like to believe has served me well in finding my other jobs in my career.
Yeah, that's cool. And then tell me about the next job, account manager. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. So propertymash.com and Bright Fox, the next company I worked at, are sister companies, so they're owned by the same person. And the account manager at Bright Fox left, so they asked me to fill in temporarily. And apparently I did well enough that they kept me on full time. So that was really good. I very much enjoyed being an account manager. My job was essentially to know our customers, anticipate their needs, help them fix problems, as and when they occurred, help, release of new software products. It was a software company.
Ooh, getting techie now. Hello.
Yeah, so that's how I got into tech, and I really enjoyed that job. It was really interesting. Every day was different, which is something I really thrived on because I
get bored easily.
Yeah, I do. And I think if I wasn't, a little bit of uncertainty about all of my days, I would have sat there going, oh my God, twiddling my thumbs almost.
Yeah, that's cool. And tell me more how you were able to sort of balance uni and work at the same time. Was that hard or nah?
Very hard. I very much I picked up a lot of skills on time management. I was not the most organized person growing up, I would say. And, having to manage these two things in different, timelines and deadlines really trained me in good skills and like having an understanding of prioritizing things and figuring out that, okay, the more busy I am, the better I am at actually getting things done. Because if I have free time, I look at it and I go, oh, well, we can just procrastinate then. It's all right. Which is not always the right answer to everything. And so I got very, very good at managing my calendar and having an understanding on what my week would look like and how I'd be moving around things. Which, it didn't always mean that my uni assignments were done early, but it meant that they were like maybe 50% done early.
Oh, that's
and then the rest were
good.
like done on the day of.
Yeah, wow. So how did you exactly organize it? So if you were to kind of give tips to the audience?
So the thing I always start with is a to-do list. So I put down a giant list of absolutely everything that I would need to get done for that week. And then sometimes...
Are you digital or are you handwritten?
Now I'm digital, but I was handwritten at the time when I was at university. And I would absolutely everything. And then from there I would figure out what was most important, prioritize, and then I would look at my calendar and I go, okay, this is when I'm in a lab. This is, when I am on site with a client. Here's when I'm doing all these different things. Like there's set things in my calendar that I can't move. What can I slot in before, after? Can I do my reading on the train so that it gets done? Or like, should I drive into uni this day so that I can cut the amount of time down so that I can do this later on, etc. And I would just basically plan out my week like that. And some days, I would have a rough idea in my head. I wouldn't need to plan it out specifically. I'd know, okay, I'm going from here to here to here. That's all right. Like that's that day planned. And then other days I would need to plan down to the 5-minute interval because I had lots of things going on, lots of balls in the air. It was usually around exam period.
Yeah.
All the assignments, joy of joys. So glad those are all done now.
Yeah, wow. And then tell me more about your transition into KPMG. Woo!
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's really different to where I've worked before. It's a much bigger company, so a lot more people around. It's very odd to me to having people like my own age around because at Bright Fox, when I was working there, I was the youngest person in the office by about 15 years. So while that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, it was always great to chat with all my coworkers. They were talking about buying houses and their kids and things, whereas now I can chat to someone about a meme that I saw online last night and they'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I love it. And how was the transition from the two types of work, so going from account management into tech advisory, which is quite different? Yeah,
very different. But I think account management has given me a lot of transferable skills. They're very generic. It's knowing how to talk to people.
Yeah, you're so good at that.
Thank you. I think that's the extroverted part of me is loving to talk to people. My mother always says that I can talk underwater, and she's not wrong. I probably can.
Yeah, and then tell me more about tech advisory because you don't have that technical background. So how does that go down?
Fairly well, actually. I think not having a tech background, sometimes it can mean that I've got to go do some research, on what software we're talking about or how it can integrate different pieces of software and what the actual capabilities are. But I think also having that external background and view of things means that I can come at our problems from a slightly different angle to everyone else. And that can be really valuable sometimes in offering slightly different points of view or checking in challenging things, which mean that we give a better end product, right, to our customers, which is always the most important thing.
Yeah, fair enough. And you're only 3 months in?
I think 5.
5 months.
So since January.
Yep. So fresh. Yeah, and would you say overall, how technical would you need to be for such a job?
I don't think you would necessarily say that you need a tech background to work in tech advisory. Having an understanding of, tech systems is always helpful because, understanding, okay, this piece of software can or can't link to Y piece of software over here, or here are the issues that surround that. Having a general understanding of technology is fantastic. I recommend that. But I think generally having a background in business is probably more important.
Yeah. Did you have to do any sort of self-study for tech or anything?
I think it's more what I've picked up along the way. I've been very lucky to have a lot of really good mentor figures who have taught me a lot about different software pieces or how systems work and been like a sponge. I've just absorbed all the knowledge that I can from other people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what exactly is kind of like a day in the life for you?
At the moment, very variable. The project that I'm working on at the moment, I'm actually working with KPMG New Zealand.
Nice.
So my mornings are quite early, but that's okay. I'm slowly becoming a morning person.
Yes.
As long as I get my coffee. And so I might have a lot of meetings in the morning because that's, you know, they're 2 hours ahead of us at the moment, or 3, depending on where in New Zealand they're based. So we usually have most of our meetings in the morning. So I might, you know, have a bunch of stand-ups or, you know, sprint retros or sprint planning meetings, for example, in the morning, or check-ins with people. And then usually around lunchtime, I'll start to free up from those sort of meetings and we'll actually get work done. So I can go out and do what I need to do to get projects across the line.
Yeah, nice. And what kind of like work would you say you're like writing about, like operating models or doing some kind of strategy kind of thing, or?
So at the moment, I'm involved with basically business mapping. So we're looking at how different pieces of software are used in different processes.
Yeah.
And we're mapping that for the client in both their current state and like what an ideal future state would look like once this new piece of software is implemented for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, it is actually. As again, nerdy as that is to say, I am finding it incredibly interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just wondering, in general, like, you know, how do you sort of deal with stress?
I think I said before, I'm a big runner, so that's my big de-stressor. I like to just sort of, I get it on the runner.
With music?
Yes, with music. And I just, you know, I just run until I feel like I've sorted out everything in my head. Sometimes
so you're
I'm
thinking
not.
about it and running?
Sometimes I'm not consciously doing it. Sometimes I'm just doing it. Like I just will go until I hit a point where I feel like my stress levels come down. But I'm usually, I think, you know, working on something in the back of my mind, even if I'm just listening to the song and, you know, having a vibe to, you know, 303 or like Flow Rider or someone.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. I think also, you know, I'm lucky enough to have a really big family, so I can, you know, call up my mum or my dad or any of my sisters and just sort of have a vent to them, which is always helpful because they generally have no idea what I'm talking about. So they're like, that just sounds so terrible, honey. No. And I'm like, yeah, you get it.
I love it when people agree with you when you're venting.
Exactly. But also they can also be really good, you know, soundboards where they're like, no, you're just completely overreacting. Like, take a breath, you know, have some dinner, you're hangry, or you need to sleep. Like, you know, you've overworked yourself. Yeah, and I think sometimes it's good to have someone point out that you need to work on those basics too, because they can slip past you sometimes, and you don't think that the reason that you're so agitated is because you're hungry. But then you go, oh my God, it's been like 6 hours since I had breakfast. Like, of course I'm hungry. Like, of course the reason that I'm finding, you know, getting so upset over this thing not working is because I haven't eaten in 6 hours or whatever it might be. I think sometimes when your mum goes, you need to just have a sandwich, you go, oh my God, yeah, she's right.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself kind of like a chronic overthinker?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that sounds right.
Would you consider yourself more anxious or?
I don't think I'm an anxious person. I think the running really helps with that for me anyway. But I think sometimes like I can overthink things and, you know, go, oh, have I taken that into consideration? What about this? Have I done that? Like, is that something that I need to be worried about? And then, you know, there's always 100 other things going on in your head at one time, right? And so it kind of just can get a bit tangled and you go, oh, I need to take a sec and, you know, lay it all out basically. Yeah,
that sounds cool. Nice. On to the sort of miscellaneous questions. So the first one is, so you did boxing, huh?
Yeah, badly in high school. University. No, I was more boxercised probably. I was part of the boxing club at university, and
did you get a few good punches?
It was more boxercised, so I was always deathly afraid of someone hitting my nose and breaking it. So I was probably not the most efficient boxer. But I really enjoyed it. It was a really wonderful group of people that I was involved with in the club. So probably enjoyed our parties more than the actual boxing classes, but it was so much fun. And then COVID happened, unfortunately. And then after COVID, I didn't have enough free time to be able to go to our weekly classes because they moved them forward, unfortunately. So I couldn't make it anymore. But I'm still actually good friends with a few different people from the boxing club, luckily. So we still
come
catch
for
up.
the socials. That's a nice.
Exactly.
Nice. And you always like sort of strike me as a kind of confident person. Has that always kind of come naturally to you? And how does one become confident?
I wish I could tell you how to become confident. I think it comes with, age. And as unfortunate as that is, I think it's a lot that it's something that you learn with life. You've got to make mistakes and you've got to just go, oh my God, like that was genuinely just so embarrassing. I'm not going to show my face in public for a week. And then you've still got to show your face in public and work through things. And I think I've come to realize that, everybody's in their own world. Everybody's worried about themselves, which is fine, right? Like that's how we are as humans. It's our intrinsic nature to worry about ourselves. And I think when I cottoned on to that, I was like, no one actually really cares if I wear really bright shoes to work every day. Other than,
those red Killer Hills, yes.
Exactly, right? But people clock them and they go, oh, cool shoes. And then they do not think about it for the rest of the day. And I think realizing that helped me become more confident in and of myself, because in high school and as a teenager, you're very self-conscious all the time. You're always worrying that everyone's looking at you and judging you. And I'm sure they are. I'm sure there are people who are looking at me and judging me, but I can't let everybody's opinion stop me from doing things. Some of the best experiences of my life have been at times where I've gone, you know what, I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm just going to get it done. Like, people might laugh at me, but at least if I'm aware of it, I can laugh with them.
Nice. So what are some of those best experiences? Not to put you on the spot.
I don't know, I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so I've done some pretty fun things. I've gone running with the bulls over in Spain when I was 19, and that was really cool. Very scary, but very cool. I've gone skydiving before, and that was really fun. There's just been littler things as well, like giving speeches in high school. One of the things that was required at my high school was that you would give a speech without notes in some classes, and sometimes that is a very daunting thing to do when you are speaking for 10 minutes. Like, you've got to remember your entire speech, or at least remember like checkpoints in your mind to be able to ad-lib it. So that was certainly a learning experience, but that made me very confident in my ability to present publicly. And again, that learning by doing things really helped.
Yeah, awesome. The next question. So, always been a cat woman?
I mean, we've always had dogs growing up.
Oh,
but,
scandalous.
I got a cat when I was 13. Her name's Mickey. She's a light of my life. I adore her. And my mum and dad gave her to me when I was having a bit of a rough patch at school, struggling to find my spot. And she sort of gave me a thing to focus on, here's this whole little being who was like reliant on me to care for her and to give her all the love and attention that she needed. And it really gave me something outside of myself to get outside of myself about, to get out of my mind about, so I wasn't worrying about everything all the time. So I love her lots, even if she is really annoying when she wakes me up at 5 a.m. every morning, meowing to go outside, but whatever.
Wow, kind of like a dog, huh?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, so describe to me her personality. Is she like a bit more like affectionate or one with an attitude?
Oh, both. She's very, very affectionate. She like wags her tail like she's a dog. She was raised around 2 dogs. Ragdoll, very like floppy, like you pick her up, I can wear her as a scarf during winter, which is adorable, and also a great portable heater. We love it. But she's also definitely got her own, attitude and personality. She's the loudest meower you've heard in your entire life. If I don't feed her exactly on the dot at 6 o'clock every night, I'll hear about it. And so will my neighbours. She's very, very insistent on being fed when she wants to, or like going out the doors when she wants the doors open. But
running the house, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me about volunteering at the Pajama Angel Foundation.
So in high school, my sporting house, Hirschfeld, supported this Pajama Foundation. So we raised money for them every year. And when I turned 18, I applied to become a Pajama Angel. So the Pajama Foundation provides mentors or pajama angels for students who are like in foster care environments.
Yeah.
Because usually children who are in foster care are between 2 to 5 years behind the rest of their peers in terms of their like literacy and numeracy and mathematical understanding. A lot of that time it's because they haven't been read to as children. So we go in and we read with these kids and we help them with their homework. So I've been a pajama angel since I was 18 with the same young girl. She's wonderful. She's such a smart human being. Like, you know, she doesn't really let anything get her down. And she's such a phenomenal little kid. I love chatting with her and finding out what she's been up to and helping her with her homework and everything. And it's been a really eye-opening experience for me. I've been lucky enough to live in a really like phenomenal family. You know, both my parents are around. They're both really supportive. Well, up probably what you would consider upper middle class.
Yeah.
Like I've been very safe. I've been very loved. And these kids, not all of them have been, you know, and there's different kids in this family where chatting to them and chatting to the carer in the family has really like shown me a lot about life and how much kinder I can be to other people because I don't know what background they're coming from and, you know, how they've been impacted by things that happened in their childhood.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah. So
I recommend it. Become a pajama angel. It's a really valuable experience. Like, go do it. You know, if you've got free time, an hour a week is all it takes.
Oh, then that's pretty low commitment. That's pretty easy to get involved.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So we're nearly at the end of the podcast. Just a few more quick questions. The ones you've been dreading. So what's the meaning of life for you?
So I Googled it before I came here. Google was very unhelpful. I got onto the Wikipedia page of the meaning of life and then I got stuck there for a little while, I won't lie. A lot of people have very, very different views on what it means. But for me, at this stage in my life anyway, I think life is all about, you know, what meaning you give to it. It's the people that you are with and the things that you choose to do with your time. You know, it might not always be perfect. In fact, I would say it's not always going to be perfect. Things will happen. You'll have fights. You'll, you know, fall over and skin your knee. Stuff will happen, right? But you've got to keep going because eventually that'll be a story. That'll be something that makes up the story of who you are, of how you've impacted these other people, of the life that you're going to leave behind when you're gone. So the experience part of it, I guess, of what you give and what you get is the meaning of life for me. At the moment anyway. Might change in 10 years.
That's awesome. And if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do differently about your life?
Ooh,
more shoes.
Probably, more shoes. I don't know if much would actually change straight away. I'd probably, like, you know, maybe go buy an apartment if I won that much money in the lottery. It would depend, you know. But I'd probably help my parents with their mortgage on their house. As much as they like probably wouldn't want me to, but I'd be like, no, here you go. It's a thank you for looking after me. Being so wonderful. I'd probably put some money aside for my sisters as well. I'd go traveling, but I don't know if it would, like I'd still want to work. I'd get too bored if I didn't work. I'd probably pick up a whole bunch of like random hobbies though. I know myself well enough. That money would go on like weird hobbies and I'd be like, no, that was really fun. But a massive sink of money.
That's awesome. And the final question is, what is an ideal day in the life for you? It can be work related, it can be non-work related, up to you.
That's a good question. I don't actually know in specific detail what it would be. It would probably involve a sleep-in. It would start with that. I'd probably have just a basic breakfast, not a lot. I'm not super hungry in the mornings. I'd probably have a snuggle with my cat at some point. Probably hang out with my family. Some of the best memories I have with and of my family is of us going and exploring new places, traveling, or you know, doing activities together. When we were in San Diego one time, we went cycling around this little island in the bay. It was terrifying for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a really, really, really poor cyclist. It's like absolutely one of those.
You in sports, right?
It's not a good experience. I don't enjoy it at all. But you know, that whole day of getting to go out with them, we went cycling for like I think an hour or 2 hours or something, and then we came back and we were like throwing around this like football that was also a speaker on the beach. And I think it was the day before Christmas or Christmas Day, and it was just really nice.
So wholesome.
It was very wholesome. We just had a really nice time together, and it's very precious memory to me. So I think getting to do something like that, spending time with them, with the people that are important, you know, it could be going to the movies with them. I don't really mind.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So we're at the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for being on the pod, and I love listening to your story.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye.